Welcome to another episode of the Blitz. I will be your host once again, Bryan Greer, and today I will be going over the main card of UFC 187. As you all know, this card has had a lot of changes to it, but what's new when it comes to UFC, which has about 85,000 cards a year now, and this card is headlined by two title fights, the main event being Anthony Johnson versus Daniel Cormier for the light heavyweight title, and the co-main event being Chris Weidman, the middleweight champion, versus Vitor Belfort. Now, in the main event, as we all know, Jon Jones got stripped of the light heavyweight belt after acting like he was in a real-life version of Grand Theft Auto, getting in a car wreck and running away from the scene, but grabbing cash while running away from the scene, which definitely was not a good choice on his end. And now is replaced by Daniel Cormier, who actually lost to him in his last fight, but is getting another title shot after a loss. So go figure. The UFC makes up its rules as it goes along, as we all know. And is going to be facing Anthony Johnson, who came off a very impressive win against Alexander Gustafsson in January, which he just really pummeled Gustafsson just viciously with ground and pound and just beat him to a pulp to a TKO win. And this is going to be a really good matchup in my opinion. You've got, like I said, Anthony Johnson, who is primarily a striker, but is known for his wrestling. Collegiately was, decorated, I think, All-American, and also, has very good takedown defense. And we all know about his past with the UFC being cut, but coming back now and being on a roll this time in the light heavyweight division. As far as Daniel Cormier goes, we all know him as All-American wrestler, also former Olympian, great wrestling, just incredible athleticism when it comes to being able to, shoulder toss or hip toss his opponents above his head and everything, as we saw when he fought Dan Harrison and ragdolled him to a pulp. But coming off loss, like I said, against Jon Jones now. In this fight, I believe that Anthony Johnson's striking is going to be the difference. The reason being, he is just so technical with his striking and his footwork and just being able to cut off the octagon and doing whatever it takes to, get his opponent against the fence and just, start landing blows and tee off on him. And with Daniel Cormier being substantially smaller than Anthony Johnson, I think that's going to be a big factor in this fight. He's going to be able to land his strikes, which we know Cormier doesn't have the same striking as him. And Anthony Johnson's takedown defense is very good, so I'm not sure that Cormier is going to be able to take him down, consistently, because if it stays on the feet, we know all Anthony Johnson needs is a couple seconds, and it could be lights out. And I actually see that happening, this fight ending in the second round. I just think Anthony Johnson is his time. He is just a vicious, brutal striker, and nobody's really getting his way right now. So, kudos to, Daniel Cormier getting another shot at the title, but I think he's going up somebody that right now is just a vicious, brutal, force to be reckoned with in the light heavyweight division, Anthony Johnson. So, like I said, I see a KO in the second round, and for Anthony Johnson, if he does do this will set him up. Hopefully, Jon Jones will get back in the UFC after, being indefinitely suspended and get his personal life back together, and that would be a really good matchup to see. So, if that does happen, that will be a good matchup. Now, moving on to the middleweight title bout between the champion Chris Weidman and Vitor Belfort. As we all know, Chris Weidman, incredible wrestler, so technical on the ground, could just finish his opponents with all kinds of crazy submissions, arm chokes. His jiu-jitsu is great. Really good striker, unorthodox with his elbows and everything. Really is in the past brutalized his opponents, as we know, did knock out Anderson Silva cold, even though it's a little bit, sketchy and skeptical with, and he just caught Anderson Silva's always, kind of playing around and everything. Now, he was in a 5-round war in his last fight with Lyoto Machida, who, as we all know, is a great fighter and is very unorthodox with his karate, but Chris Weidman did look very good in that fight, edging out Machida. But one thing we know about Chris Weidman is in the late rounds, he does seem to gas out and his cardio does become an issue. Now, as far as Vitor Belfort, he has been on a roll ever since losing to John Jones in the light heavyweight division. The middleweight division in his last fight, he head kicked, KO'd Dan Henderson. In another fight before that, he knocked out Michael Bisping with a head kick. And then another fight, he knocked out Luke Rockhold with a head kick. He has just been an assassin when it comes to, leg kicks and his striking. We know he's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner and can really, do things on the ground also. But he is mainly likes to keep it on his feet in the striking. He is just very, very crisp when it comes to the striking. And as we all know, this fight has been delayed at least a couple of times because of injuries due to Chris Weidman or due to drug testing with Vitor Belfort, who has always in the past been, criticized or been seen as a cheater when it comes to drug testing or whatever. So this time it's finally going to happen, and in this fight, because of Vitor Belfort's vicious striking, I think that he's actually going to win this fight. He has just looked so good since dropping down to the middleweight division. And as we know, he's just every bit as good on the ground as Chris Weidman is. And I think that's going to nullify each other in the standing. I think that's where Vitor Belfort wins this fight. And I think he's going to get another KO win. I think it's going to be this time with strikes. I think he's going to get Weidman against the cage and finish him in the third round. I think this is going to be just a really good fight. But like I said, Vitor Belfort, I think he's going to be able to finish Chris Weidman, because as the fight goes along, it seems that Weidman does gas out. And I think that Vitor Belfort is going to be up to the challenge, because I think he has just really put it all together like he did when he was younger in the UFC and was the light heavyweight champion. So if he does win, he will become one of the few fighters in the UFC to be a 2-division champion. So with that being said, want to go ahead and get into another fight on the main card, which is in the lightweight division. Donald Cerrone versus John Madesi. Now, we all know that Donald Cerrone is supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, but as we all know, Khabib got hurt in training once again. Seems to always be something going on with his training where he gets hurt. He seems to be very fragile. So Madesi is stepping in off just a 1-month layoff after actually fighting in UFC 186, which was incredible. KO, which he did to Shane Campbell. He did not waste any time. I think it was within a minute. He just looks always impressive in Canada, as we all know. And he is just really either very impressive with his striking, or just goes out there and gets dominated. So that's one thing with him. But Donald Cerrone has been on a 7-fight win streak, looked incredible. This was the fight that, if he was going to fight Khabib, was going to put him in line for a title shot. But even though he's fighting John Madesi, him having a 7-fight win streak and looking very dominant in most of his wins, he is really in line, I think, if he wins this fight, to get that title shot. In his last fight, as we all know, beat Benson Henderson, who is no joke, as we all know, former lightweight champion, and was able to grind it out and win that fight in a really back and forth war. So in this fight, I think that Donald Cerrone is going to win. And I believe he's going to actually win in a TKO. I think he's going to get back to his, kickboxing and his striking and really put on a good performance, because he knows if he puts on a good performance, there's no way that the UFC can deny him a title shot against Rafael Dos Anjos, because he has really put it all together. In 8 wins in a row, he has to get a title shot. I know he's supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, but John Madesi is a good fighter, and if he beats him, and definitely if he finishes him, there is no way that he should not get a title shot and put himself in line for a shot at the belt. So, like I said, that's going to be a really good fight. And the fourth fight on the main card, another very good fight, which is in the heavyweight division, Travis Browne versus Andrei Arlovski. Both guys coming off wins. For Travis Browne in his last fight, just very, very dominant win. Just his leg kicks, he has just started putting it all together ever since losing to Fabricio Verdun. He is just on a tear. It was a first round KO. And Arlovski, in his last fight, beating Antonio Bigfoot Silva, a good performance by him, but we know that Bigfoot Silva is on the downside of his career. Arlovski, we know, been around a long time in the MMA game, and he has really, seemed to have a revival in his career, and trying to come back and put it together and make a run at the belt, the heavyweight division. But I just don't see that happening. I think Travis Browne, just too much striking, just too brutal with his knees, head kicks. I think he's just going to finish Arlovski against the fence in a KO. I think this might be a brutal KO. He's too young, too athletic, everything. I just don't think Arlovski's going to be much of a challenge actually for Travis Browne. And if Travis Browne wins this, I think that after one more win, I think he's in line for another title shot, or actually a title shot, because he has not gotten one. But this is going to be a fight that I really think that it's not going to be much of a contest for Travis Browne, because every time he comes out now, since losing Fabricio Verdun, looks better and better. So with that being said, I want to get into the last fight on the main card, which is Joseph Benavidez versus John Moraga in the flyweight division. As we all know, Joseph Benavidez, very good striker, has some really good, fantastic knockouts, but has come up twice short for the flyweight title against Demetrius Johnson, the flyweight king, getting brutally knocked out one time, and then another fight just getting grinded out by Demetrius Johnson, which we know is the most technical striker and takedown artist in MMA probably. As far as John Moraga goes, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner and wrestler. He is very to sound. In his last fight, winning by submission, just looked very good. He is just incredible on the ground. Okay striker, but with his ground game, when he takes it down there, he is very good. And in this fight, I think that John Moraga is going to win, actually. I think he's going to win in a decision. I just think that his time has come. As we know, Joseph Benavidez does gas out as the fight goes along, and I think that he normally, as Moraga goes along, the fight gets stronger, and that he's going to be able to take down Benavidez and win this fight because it's going to be a very crucial fight as far as it goes for another title shot for either of these guys, because the flyweight division is not very deep. It is very shallow, so I think that if Moraga wins, he might be in line after John Dodson to see if he can get another shot at Demetrius Johnson in the flyweight division. So really packed main card. Even though John Jones isn't on the card, this fight card is still packed. A lot of great fights. Really looking forward to it all. And in the comment section, I want to know, what do you think about Daniel Cormier getting another title shot? Do you think it was fair? Do you think he should have got it? Who do you think is going to win now that it's been almost 4 years for a new title, a new champion in the light heavyweight division? Do you think Anthony Johnson is going to win? What do you think is going to happen as far as in the middleweight division? Who's going to win that title between Belfort and Weidman? Just want to know about the whole card. Let me know everything that is going on. And also, do you think that John Jones should be in the next, Grand Theft Auto? Something, needs to be given here, John Jones lost his sponsorship with Reebok. Maybe he can make a little bit of money with, the people that make Grand Theft Auto. Hey, trying to help you out, John Jones. So let me know what you think about that also. So with that being said, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And always subscribe to our channel, Unrivaled Multimedia. And as always, take it easy until next time.